The alert came during Earth's night cycle, when most of the United Terran Council was asleep. Admiral Sarah Chen was reviewing defense reports when her quantum comm erupted with urgent messages from 17 different colony worlds simultaneously. Her coffee cup crashed to the floor as the first visuals streamed in. The Xeraxian ships had appeared without warning. Massive vessels, their crystalline hulls refracting starlight into deadly prismatic arrays, positioned themselves above each human settlement. Their message was simple: we come to protect. Resistance will be met with correction. In the century since humanity had joined the galactic community, they'd learned to be diplomatic, cooperative, even deferential when needed, but they had never forgotten their roots as survivors of a death world. While other species evolved on gentle planets with predictable climates, humans had clawed their way to sapience through ice ages, natural disasters, and predators that still haunted their genetic memory. The Xeraxians had mistaken diplomacy for weakness. Within minutes, the UTC emergency chamber filled with bleary-eyed council members. Admiral Chen's hologram dominated the center of the room as she delivered her report. The Xeraxian Empire has positioned Class 4 warships above New Eden, Proxima Colony, and 15 other settlements. They're claiming protective custody, citing the recent border skirmishes with the Krell Dominion as justification. Council leader Marcus Rivera, his dark eyes sharp despite the hour, leaned forward. Protective custody. They're using our conflict with the Krell as an excuse for occupation. Correct. Chen's hologram nodded. And based on their ship positions, this was meticulously planned. They're specifically avoiding our more heavily defended worlds while targeting our most resource-rich colonies. The room erupted in overlapping conversations until Rivera raised his hand for silence. What are their demands? They want us to sign a protection agreement. It would give them authority over our colonial defense forces and resource management. Chen's voice carried barely contained fury. They're calling it a temporary measure, but the agreement has no termination clause. Dr. Emily Santos, head of Tenopsychology, spoke up. The Xeraxians evolved as a hive species. They genuinely believe they're offering protection. In their society, individual autonomy is secondary to collective security. Their beliefs don't justify conquest, Rivera countered. Admiral, what's our tactical position? Chen's hologram manipulated unseen controls, bringing up a strategic display. If we respond with conventional forces, the civilian casualties would be catastrophic. The Xeraxians chose their positions well. Any direct confrontation puts our colonists in the crossfire. Rivera surveyed the room. Options. Dr. James Morrison, their lead physicist, cleared his throat. We've been developing something in the deep labs. Project Nightfall. It's theoretical, but theoretical isn't good enough. Chen interrupted. We need solutions now. With respect, Admiral, Morrison continued, what we've discovered could change everything. We just need time. Rivera studied the strategic display, watching as more Xeraxian ships moved into position. Each one represented thousands of lives at risk, millions of credits in resources, and centuries of human expansion into the stars. They had built their colonies through ingenuity and determination, turning hostile worlds into homes through sheer human stubbornness. How much time? He asked Morrison. 3 months, maybe 4. Rivera nodded slowly. Then we'll give you time. He turned to Chen. Admiral, implement Protocol Grey Dawn. We're going to show the Xeraxians exactly what they want to see. A civilization backing down from confrontation. Sir, Chen's hologram flickered with her surprise. You want us to appear weak? No, Admiral. I want us to appear diplomatic, reasonable, and completely unthreatening, while Dr. Morrison's team completes their work. A grim smile crossed Rivera's face. The Xeraxians believe they're dealing with a species that's forgotten its roots as Deathworlders. Let's not correct that misconception. Yet, as the Council dispersed to their assigned tasks, Rivera remained, staring at the tactical display. Humanity had learned to play nice with the galactic community, but they had never forgotten how to fight. The Zeraxians were about to learn a crucial lesson about Earth's history. The most dangerous predators were often the ones that looked harmless until it was too late. In the coming weeks, humanity would show the galaxy why Earth was classified as a death world, and why its children had not only survived but thrived in its unforgiving embrace. The Zeraxians thought they were protecting weaker worlds, but they were about to discover that humans had never needed protection. They just needed a reason to stop being nice. The surface of Luna Base hadn't changed in the 3 months since the Zeraxian ultimatum. Its cratered landscape remained as desolate as ever, its facilities appearing unchanged to the watchful eyes above. Deep below, however, humanity had never been busier. Dr. Morrison stood before a massive quantum array, its crystalline structure pulsing with possibilities. Around him, hundreds of scientists from every human world worked in perfect synchronization. The old rivalries between nations, colonies, and corporations had vanished overnight. Nothing united humans quite like a common threat. "The quantum field is stable," announced Dr. Yuki Tanaka, her hands dancing across holographic controls. "Ready for test sequence 17. Morrison nodded, trying to ignore the weight of billions of lives resting on their work. "Initiate containment protocols." In orbit, Admiral Chen watched the Zeraxian patrols from her flagship, the UTS Defender. The enemy ships moved with mathematical precision, their crystalline hulls gleaming with artificial perfection. They believed they were watching a defeated species slowly accepting its fate. Every scan they performed showed exactly what humanity wanted them to see. "Status report," Chen demanded, her voice carrying across the bridge. "Zeraxian patrol patterns unchanged," Lieutenant Rodriguez reported. "They're maintaining their standard observation protocols. No indication they've detected anything unusual." Chen allowed herself a small smile. The Zeraxians' greatest weakness was their inability to comprehend deception. Their hive mind evolution had created a species that valued absolute truth in all communications. They couldn't imagine that humanity's apparent resignation was anything but genuine. Deep beneath Luna's surface, Morrison's team prepared for their final test. Project Nightfall had evolved far beyond its original theoretical framework. What had started as a defensive technology had become something more, a fundamental reimagining of how humans could interact with space itself. "Field coherence at 100%, Tanaka announced. "Ready for full spectrum analysis." Morrison took a deep breath. "Execute." For a fraction of a second, a cubic meter of space within their test chamber simply ceased to exist. Not empty space. The space itself vanished, taking with it all the physical laws that governed reality. When it returned, the test object they'd placed inside had been transformed at a fundamental level. "Data confirmed," Tanaka whispered, her voice filled with awe. "We did it. We actually did it." Morrison immediately opened a secure channel to the UTC Council. "Project Nightfall is ready." In the council chambers, Rivera received the news with grim satisfaction. For 3 months, humanity had played its part perfectly. They had complained about the Zeraxian presence through official channels, but always politely. They had gradually reduced their military patrols, citing budget constraints. They had even invited Zeraxian observers to their major facilities, showing them exactly what they expected to see. Not once did they show the fury burning in their hearts. Not once did they reveal that every human, from the highest council member to the youngest colony child, was part of the deception. "Begin Phase 2, Rivera ordered. Across human space, hidden facilities hummed to life. Quantum arrays, built in secret beneath the surface of a dozen worlds, powered up. The technology that Morrison's team had perfected wasn't just a weapon. It was a key to understanding space itself in ways the Zeraxians, for all their advanced technology, had never imagined. Humanity had learned early in its evolution that survival sometimes meant appearing weak until the perfect moment to strike. Their ancestors had used camouflage and stealth to hunt prey far larger than themselves. Now their descendants would use those same principles on a galactic scale. Chen received the activation codes with fierce satisfaction. "Prepare for Operation Stormbreak," she ordered her fleet. "All ships, initiate quantum field generators." The Zeraxian ships continued their patrols, their crews confident in their superior position. They didn't notice the subtle distortions beginning to form around them. They couldn't detect the quantum fields taking shape, bending reality itself to humanity's will. They had come to protect what they saw as a weaker species. Instead, they were about to learn why humans were the apex predators of their death world. Evolution had taught humanity patience, cunning, and the ability to adapt. Most importantly, it had taught them when to strike. The galaxy was about to change forever, not with a diplomatic declaration or a conventional battle, but with humanity revealing its true nature. They had spent 3 months appearing to accept their fate while preparing to show the Zeraxians, and every other species watching, exactly why Earth was classified as a death world. The Zeraxian commander Kthax watched Earth's moon through the crystalline viewing portal of his flagship. 3 months of observation had confirmed their initial assessment. Humans were adapting to protection as expected. Their resistance had been purely diplomatic, their military presence diminishing with each passing cycle. Everything was proceeding according to statistical models. That's when reality itself seemed to shatter. The quantum alert screamed to life as space twisted in impossible ways around his fleet. Kthax's crystalline form vibrated with alarm as his ship's sensors reported complete spatial anomalies appearing and disappearing faster than their systems could track. Multiple human vessels detected, his sensor officer reported, panic fracturing the usually perfect harmony of their hive communication. There, everywhere, and nowhere. Through the viewing portal, Kthax watched in horror as human ships phased into existence, their hulls wrapped in distortions that bent light and space around them. They weren't using stealth technology or conventional cloaking devices. They were manipulating the fundamental fabric of space-time itself. Admiral Chen's voice echoed across all frequencies, her tone carrying the cold fury of a predator finally unleashed. "This is Admiral Sarah Chen of the United Terran Fleet. For 3 months, you've claimed to protect us. Now, allow us to demonstrate why we never needed protection." The quantum fields Morrison's team had perfected didn't just hide ships. They created pockets of altered space where human vessels could rewrite the rules of physics itself. Weapons fire from Zeraxian ships passed harmlessly through empty space as their targets shifted between dimensional states. In the UTC command center, Rivera watched the tactical displays with grim satisfaction. Status report. Operation Stormbreak proceeding as planned. Chen's hologram reported. Zeraxian fleets are completely surrounded. Their weapons are ineffective against our quantum-shifted vessels. No casualties on our side. Morrison's voice joined the transmission. The quantum arrays are performing beyond expectations. The Zeraxians can't adapt because their entire understanding of physics doesn't account for what we're doing. It's like trying to fight someone who can step sideways through time. The Zeraxian response was exactly what humanity had predicted. Their hive mind nature, so effective at coordinating large-scale operations, became a liability when faced with something that defied their fundamental understanding of reality. Their ships moved in perfect formation, executed textbook maneuvers, and were completely helpless against an enemy that could simply decide to exist somewhere else when attacked. "This is impossible," Kthax broadcast, his message tinged with harmonics of fear. "Your species lacks the technological advancement for such capabilities." Chen's response was cold and clear. "You assumed that because we chose diplomacy, we had forgotten how to fight. You mistook civilization for weakness. Allow me to correct that misconception." Across human space, the carefully orchestrated plan unfolded. Quantum fields blossomed around every Zeraxian ship, trapping them in bubbles of altered space-time. Their weapons, their shields, their advanced technology, all rendered meaningless by humanity's fundamental reimagining of what was possible. In the deep labs beneath Luna, Tanaka monitored the quantum array outputs, all systems performing within parameters. "We can maintain the fields indefinitely." Morrison nodded, watching as humanity's greatest scientific achievement rewrote the rules of warfare. They never understood what they were dealing with. Humans didn't become the apex predators of Earth through brute force alone. We survived because we could imagine solutions that nothing else could conceive of. The Ziraxian fleet, pride of their empire, hung helpless in space, surrounded by human ships that seemed to flicker between dimensions. Their perfectly ordered worldview crumbled as they faced an enemy that didn't just break the rules, it rewrote them entirely. "Attention, Ziraxian Command." Rivera's voice carried across all frequencies. "Your protection is no longer required. You have 1 hour to withdraw from human space. After that, we will demonstrate exactly why Earth is classified as a death world, not because of our planet's conditions, but because of what those conditions created in us." In the silence that followed, the galaxy held its breath. Humanity had revealed itself not just as a technological equal to the Ziraxians, but as something far more dangerous, a species that could look at the impossible and find a way to make it real. The age of appearing harmless was over. The galaxy was about to learn why the most dangerous predators were often the ones that waited patiently before showing their true nature. And humanity was done waiting. The Grand Galactic Council chamber had never been so silent. Representatives from 1,000 species watched the recorded footage of human ships phasing through reality itself, their expressions ranging from awe to terror. The Ziraxian delegation sat rigidly in their crystalline forms, their usual harmonious glow dimmed with humiliation. Ambassador Xinli of Earth stood calmly at the center of the chamber, her presence commanding attention not through force, but through the quiet confidence of someone who no longer needed to prove anything. "For centuries," she began, her voice carrying easily through the vast space, "humanity has been classified as a death world species. Many of you viewed this as a mark of primitiveness, assuming we had merely survived harsh conditions through luck or stubbornness. You were partially correct. Earth did forge us, but not in the way you imagined." The holographic displays showed more footage. Human ships dancing through quantum fields, Ziraxian weapons passing harmlessly through empty space where targets had been microseconds before. "We learned from our harsh world that survival requires more than strength," Sin continued. "It requires innovation, adaptation, the ability to see beyond what is to what could be. While the Ziraxian Empire saw us as a species needing protection, we were quietly rewriting the laws of physics. In the upper tiers, the Krell delegation stirred. Their insectoid forms clicked in agitation as their speaker rose. "The humans have revealed themselves as a threat to galactic stability. Their technology violates fundamental universal laws. They must be contained." Laughter rippled through the chamber, not from the humans, but from the Arcturian representative, whose gaseous form swirled with amusement. "Contained? Did you not watch the same footage as the rest of us? The humans didn't just defeat the Ziraxian fleet, they'd rendered it irrelevant." On the diplomatic decks orbiting Earth, Admiral Chen met with Rivera and Morrison as they monitored the council proceedings. "The galaxy is realigning itself," Chen observed, watching the various species form new alliances and rivalries in real time. "They're afraid," Morrison noted, but also fascinated. "The quantum field technology challenges everything they thought they knew about physics." Rivera nodded. "Fear and fascination. Humanity's specialties. We've spent centuries being underestimated. Now they'll spend centuries trying to understand us." Back in the council chamber, the Ziraxian Prime Coordinator finally spoke, their crystalline form vibrating with carefully controlled frequencies. "We acknowledge our miscalculation regarding human capabilities. The protection initiative will be withdrawn immediately." "Withdrawn?" Ambassador Xin's smile was polite but carried an edge. "Oh, I think we're well beyond simple withdrawal. Humanity proposes a new galactic charter, one that recognizes the fundamental right of all species to self-determination." The chamber erupted in overlapping voices as the implications became clear. Humanity wasn't just defending itself, it was reshaping the galactic political landscape. Our quantum field technology, Sin continued once the noise subsided, represents just one path of human innovation. We have others, many others. But unlike those who would use advanced technology to dominate, we choose to use it to protect, not through force, but through deterrence. In the shadows of the chamber, other Death World species watched with growing interest. They had always seen something familiar in humans, a shared heritage of surviving against impossible odds. Now they saw something more, a path to ensuring their own independence. Humanity extends an open invitation, Sin announced, to any species interested in scientific and cultural exchange. We believe in cooperation between equals, not domination of the weak by the strong. We survived our Death World not by conquering it, but by understanding it. We offer the same approach to galactic relations. The Arcturian representatives' gaseous form pulsed with approval. The humans offer wisdom with their strength. Perhaps it is time for the galaxy to evolve beyond the old hierarchies. As the council chamber dissolved into intense diplomatic negotiations, Ambassador Xin sent a private message to Earth. The quantum arrays remained active. Humanity's ships still danced between dimensions, but now they served as a reminder rather than a threat. The galaxy was changing, and humanity had become not just a participant but a catalyst. In his office overlooking the Pacific, Rivera read the incoming reports with satisfaction. Humanity had revealed its strength not through conquest, but through innovation. They had shown the galaxy that the most profound changes come not from the barrel of a gun, but from the power of ideas. The ripples of their revelation would traverse the galaxy for generations to come, carrying with them a fundamental truth. The children of Earth were done playing nice, but they were just getting started at playing smart. 5 years after humanity revealed its quantum field technology, the galaxy had transformed in ways no species could have predicted. The massive windows of the new Terran embassy on Arcturus Station reflected the constant flow of ships from 100 worlds, their designs as varied as the species that created them. Dr. Morrison stood at these windows, watching an Arcturian research vessel phase smoothly through quantum space, one of the first successful adaptations of human technology by another species. Behind him, Admiral Chen and Council Leader Rivera sat with representatives from 24 former Death World species, finalizing the details of the Sovereign Stars Alliance. The Xeraxians have requested membership again, Chen reported, her silver hair now streaked with more gray than when their journey began. This would be their third attempt. And what does the Council think? Morrison asked, turning from the window. Rivera's weathered face creased in a slight smile. We're inclined to accept, under certain conditions. They've spent 5 years dismantling their empire. Their newer generations show remarkable capacity for individual thought. The Alliance Chamber hummed with activity as species that had once been considered primitive or dangerous worked together, combining their unique perspectives forged in the crucibles of their harsh homeworlds. The Krill, who had once advocated for human containment, now collaborated with Earth scientists on environmental adaptation technologies. Ambassador Xin entered the chamber, returning from the latest Galactic Council session. The resolution passed, she announced. The old hierarchy is officially dissolved. All worlds are now recognized as sovereign entities with full rights of self-determination. They had little choice, Chen observed. Once we shared our quantum technology with other Death World species, the balance of power shifted permanently. Morrison watched as a group of young Xeraxian scientists worked alongside human researchers, their crystalline forms vibrating with excitement as they explored possibilities their hierarchical society had never imagined. We didn't just change the galaxy's technology, he mused. We changed how species think about what's possible. That was always humanity's real strength, Rivera said, standing to address the chamber. Not our ability to bend space and time, but our ability to imagine a different future and make it real. The assembled representatives turned their attention to Rivera as he activated the central display, showing the growing network of quantum corridors connecting formerly isolated worlds. Each point of light represented a species that had chosen cooperation over domination, innovation over force. When the Ziraxians came to protect us, Rivera continued, they thought they were dealing with a species that had forgotten its nature. Instead, they forced us to reveal our true strength, not our capacity for violence, but our drive to revolutionize everything we touch. Ambassador Xin stepped forward. The galaxy feared Death World species because they didn't understand us. They saw our harsh evolution as a mark of primitiveness rather than recognizing it as a forge that created something unique. Species that never stop adapting, never stop imagining new possibilities. Outside the station, a new class of human ship emerged from quantum space, its design a collaboration between 6 different species. It represented everything humanity had worked to achieve, not dominance through force, but progress through cooperation. We've received another transmission from the Exarillion Collective, Chen reported, referring to a newly discovered civilization on the galaxy's rim. They're requesting alliance membership and scientific exchange. Morrison smiled, remembering the fear in the Ziraxian commander's voice 5 years ago, when humanity first revealed its true nature. Send them our standard response. Welcome to a galaxy where innovation trumps intimidation, and cooperation outweighs conquest. As the sun rose over Earth, casting its light across a planet that had forged humanity in fire and challenge, thousands of ships carried its children among the stars. They moved not as conquerors or subjects, but as innovators and allies, their quantum fields bending reality itself to forge paths that had once seemed impossible. Humanity had stopped being nice, but they had become something far more important. They had become a catalyst for change, proving that the most profound revolution isn't in the weapons we wield, but in the futures we can imagine. In the end, the galaxy learned what Earth had taught humanity eons ago. True strength lies not in the ability to dominate, but in the power to transform. And transformation, humanity's greatest skill, was just beginning.